Hello and welcome to the match preview for Sheffield United versus Everton. And joining me in the hot seat today, I have two of the finest Evertonians this side of the Wirral. Ooh, or maybe not, because I've got one of them. There he is, one of them. How are you doing, Robbie?
Yeah, great to you.
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. And I've got one of your other colleagues, the other side. It's Mr. Dave Weston. And when I mean the other side, I mean all the way back from Australia. Oh my, what is going on?
Retro.
Oh, sorry about that. The cat just exited you. Let's remove this animal who makes an appearance on every Follow Everton stream. What year of the kit you've got on, Wes?
This is early 90s, isn't it? 90, 93, 94?
87. 87.
Is it that late, Robbie? Yeah.
Yeah, it was when we were champions, when we started the 87 season, so we'd lifted the trophy.
Yeah.
I feel really out of place now. I'm just coming back from Liverpool City Centre and in my casuals.
Yeah, you're young.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I did go in the Everton shop while I was in there. Bought my little nephew. It's his birthday tomorrow. His first Everton kit. He doesn't know it yet, but they're really Man U fans. But I've got to at least attempt to try and get him on the blue side because we're all blues. So it's a little attempt to do so. But I had a look at some of the Everton tops. I really don't like the third kit. It really does look like a pair of pajamas. And I said to the girl, she said, "What do you think of the kit?" I said, "You could have got away with this as the third kit, no problem, if you'd have put the normal badge on. What you've done is deliberately make it look like a set of pajamas because you've put the non-existent badge on it, so it doesn't look like a kit. And then so they've done it to themselves. And then I thought, okay, well, if I'm not getting the third kit this year because I bought the home and the away, I'll go and have a look at some of the retro kits. And I like the 86, the one with the white sort of cut out at the top.
Gary Lineker.
But I said to myself, I'm a fantasist because I've never seen these players play. I'm 29 years of age, nearly 30, but they're not relevant to me in the same way. So me sitting here on a stream
doesn't make a difference, right? Because I had one with Hafnir on, and that was for Everton's first ever sponsor. And that it was around when I wasn't born either.
I felt like a bit of a
Robbie's saying nothing there, look.
Very good. But we do know, aren't you 52?
I'm 51.
Well, 51. You're 51. I'm sure you said you were 52.
No.
Hanging on.
I feel like 52.
Have you shaved your head since you've been back?
Do you know what? I haven't had my hair cut by somebody for over 20 years. And Robbie probably hasn't had his done for that long, but because I always do it myself. And when I was in Australia, I couldn't find my sister's dustpan and brush. I took my shavers with me, and I couldn't find my sister's dustpan and brush. So I went to the barbers and had it cut, and it was strange.
I liked it when it was slightly long on the last stream. I do apologise. This cat is Lily. She's a bit of an attention seeker. You're waiting.
Needy cat.
Very, very nice. Very nice animals. I like your hair a little bit longer, Wes.
Well,
get some minoxidil. Go down and get some Rogaine.
or go to Turkey and get a transplant.
Where are they taking the hair off to put that on though?
They're doing other things in Turkey that you don't want to know about. Not just hair transplants and teeth.
Oh God.
We won't go there.
No.
I'm also noticing a little bit of change in the setup. I mean, because we're just getting people onto stream. Welcome. We will do the Sheffield preview, but it wouldn't be Follow Everton without some general chit chat. Robbie, first of all, start with you. Have you got some headphones on? You can hear us a bit better now.
Yeah, I've got my little Beta headphones on.
So you're hearing us through your headphones?
Yeah, it's outstanding. The sound quality is outstanding, but I expect that because these weren't cheap.
How much were they?
3 figures.
3 figures. I love it.
£3.50.
What about,
Wes, I don't buy knockoff anymore, mate. These are the genuine articles.
Get away. They're from Cheetah.
what are they connected to? What are you using as your? You on your phone still? Or are you on the laptop now?
From the phone on Wi-Fi straight through.
Okay, so you're on your phone still at the moment.
What's the quality like?
Yeah, no, the picture on both of your phones is great. To be fair, I think that our audience can obviously give us some feedback on.
Yeah, please.
You're gonna have to go and do something else today now. Excuse me.
Wes kindly texted me today. He said he was buying me an Apple Mac next week. I think that's very nice of him. Thanks, Wes.
No, I think you find stealing you in that Apple Mac. You got buying and stealing mixed up.
No, but Rob, in all seriousness, the set it does look clear. I hope people can appreciate because you've got a plain background, your face is lit, you've got a light in front of you, haven't you? To the side.
Yeah, I've got a Colgate light right to the side of me. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think when we get maybe one more light, and we'll get you a microphone, you'll have the perfect setup. Wes, you've made some investments as well. You're looking very bright.
I've got a couple of headlights here on top. I bought myself, what is it, a wireless microphone, and I'm all raring to go.
Where's this microphone? What are you speaking? Microphone.
It's just plugged into the top of me phone holder thing.
Yeah, but how's it connected to your phone?
Wirelessly, there's a little dongle on the end of my phone.
So can you take that microphone off?
Yeah, I can take it.
Hold it. Let's hold it to your mouth and let's see if you've actually got it set up.
Hello.
Right up.
Hello.
Now, what I want you to do, I want you to rub the microphone because I'll tell you, I can almost guarantee you're not using it. It's not plugged on. Right, rub the mic or knock on it. It's not going on.
Is it not working?
Tune into the circus, everyone.
There is no way. Right, we'll do a technical show after the follow Everton. You can join us for all that fun.
It was working before.
I can tell you when you're using it because it wasn't getting louder when you were putting it closer, and then I knew when you were knocking it.
Hold on.
Wes, you sound perfectly clear enough for the stream. We can come back to that.
I've got me lights anyway.
We need to work out the glare as well against your glasses. We might need to angle them.
Hang on. Hold on, I've got cotton picking moments.
This is why the viewers have tuned in for the. That's better. The absolute hilarious banter between the follower to group. Love that. That's better. This is a good set. This is a great setup. You don't get this on Match of the Day, right? So Everton are playing Sheffield United. Robbie, you showed me. Can you hold up the pieces of paper from before to the camera?
No, they're all glued down. Right.
Actually, Robbie is.
Hey, wait. Here we go.
Look at this guy. This is the preparation that Robbie P has put together for this team. He's absolutely taken the piss out of all of us, guys.
I'm retired. I've got loads of time on my hands, apart from my little grandchildren. So it's follow Everton and my grandchildren. That's my life.
Robbie, I should have really handed the stream responsibility for the hosting over to you, but fortunately we can't do that just yet, just because you don't have access to the back end controls. But that is something we'll work on. So for now, kind of bring in those facts and figures where relevant into the questions, if possible. We'll start with Sean Dyche's press conference. I almost feel like he'd have been better spending 30 minutes on the phone to agents and football managers and trying to get some deals done rather than come out and answer the same sort of questions that he's typically evasive to. But Robbie, he did actually give us some clarity. He did first and foremost explain that Calvert-Lewin will be back after the international break, but he's going to have his hands full trying to get back into the team after Beto's strong performance yesterday in those first 45 minutes. Thoughts on the Calvert-Lewin? It's pleasing to see that it's not a serious injury and he'll be back. Touch and go for the weekend, but be back after the international break. Yeah,
that's great news, isn't it? It is great news. He's not had an operation, so I think it's just part of protecting him now. So we want to go into that break next week, don't we? With 3 points on the board, not 1, 3, and then welcome DCL back. Would he walk straight back in the team? That's the big question. was based on Beto's 45-minute little cameo last night. I wasn't sure if he'd play him, but I'm mighty glad he did because didn't want him getting injured. But he looks like a typical old-fashioned Everton centre-forward that I've seen over the years. So I know it's only 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I know people will be saying, all right, Robbie, don't get excited. Okay, Ryan, okay, Wes. But you can only see what you can see, can't you? And he turned up and he just went, here I am. And everyone went, do you know what? I like that. I like a little piece of what I saw.
He bossed the game for 45 minutes.
Yeah. We're not talking about performances, are we, Wes, necessarily? We're looking at attributes. We're looking at what we can see in terms of his attributes. And I don't care whether they were League Two. That guy, as we discussed, when we did the reaction, once he opens his legs, you're looking at a seriously quick forward.
Very rapid.
Yeah, he's fast and power. And Calvert-Lewin, coming back would be fantastic. But Sean Dyche, he seems really happy with Beto and desperate to get him involved just as much. Really exciting player. And we'll talk about him in a moment. Just in terms of the conference, though, and injury news for you, Wes, Dwight McNeil back in training today, will train tomorrow and should be involved for the weekend. How much of a boost is that?
Great news. Great. We need all our best players fit. It's as simple as that. We're going to get out of this mini sort of crisis that we're in at the moment. We need all our best players. I said it the other night on the or last night, I should say, during the watch along, that the dynamic of this team is going to change over the next month, 5 weeks. It's going to, once we get Jack Harrison back, once we get Dwight McNeil back, DCL back, maybe get one or two more in. We'll probably go into the transfer situation during the stream. But get a few in, absolutely. Get a few out, and then we've got a settled squad then, and then we can kick on.
But on Dwight McNeil, obviously, he won't have played a lot of football because he missed a load of pre-season, and we don't know what his level of fitness is like and how I'm assuming he's medically fit now, of course, but his fitness might not be quite up to the level, so don't expect him to start. Obviously, when we talk about team news, we can go into that more detail. But in terms of other team news, Andre Gomez is still nursing a small ankle injury. I don't know whether that's to protect the fact that he's likely to leave. And Seamus Coleman is still a few weeks away. Jack Harrison is still after the international break. Mikalenko, who actually got into the team of the round 2 of the Carabao Cup. I don't know how, because I watched him getting skinned by a League Two right winger when I watched the full 90 back from before. I don't know how he got in the team of the round because I thought he was terrible, but he's got a small knock. Dele Alli is back on the grass, or Dele as some people want to call him now, completely by his choice, of course. Dele's back on the grass and should be a few weeks away. So it's looking optimistic that the players who are out at the moment will be back after the international break. Talked about transfers, though, Robbie, didn't he? He was touching on, he name-checked players rather than being quite evasive, and I admired that transparency. He said Alex Iwobi was one that they're circling around. He mentioned Damari Gray, and he's not completely, very in his choice of words. He's quite colloquial. But Damari Gray also has been subject to interest, and he name-checked Tom Cannon. You'd expect all three now to go. Your reaction on that, please?
Yeah, it's just a case of how much money we're going to get for them. They're out the door. I mean, he's clearly told them. He and Kevin Thelwell will be busy trying to push. I'm going to go for another 3 signings for us by tomorrow, but we're going to talk about that either later or on the deadline day tomorrow. So I'm definitely going for 3. 20 million. If we got 20 million for Iwobi, I think we'd be doing well with the final 12 months of his contract. But
yeah,
Fulham have got a few.
Probably, if I was offering you a 10 months loan of Iwobi and it was 15 to 20 million, you wouldn't pay that. And that's kind of where we're at. It's like, would you rather have the 15 million or Alex Iwobi? Now, it's a double-edged sword. If you sell him and we can't create anything, it could be not worth the money.
But the will, I'm saying this is a different window to January. So I think we're going to be a lot more proactive. And That's how I see it. So if he's out, they know someone else is coming in. So I'm confident that they're confident, although they can't say too much.
He did say though, Wes, that it's some these aren't the exact words. I don't have them in front of me. This is from memory. Some deals are just business, and we have to look at the business side of it. And you know, he's basically was asked, you know, if you can't replace Iwobi, should you be selling him? That was kind of what the journalist was getting at, and he was saying some deals are just business, and we have to take a business decision on it. How annoying is that, you know, as a fan, you know, to hear, because you're talking about getting rid of a player. I don't think Iwobi passes the eye test for a lot of fans, but statistically last season, he's, you know, very high on the chance creation, fourth top in the league. It must be quite annoying to hear a manager prepared to let players go without actually having a replacement signed up. Or is it just a double bluff? I mean, of course, there's players, but he's keeping it all under wraps.
Yeah, there has to be players lined up for him to be letting the Iwobi go. But like I said the other day, that we've got to get out of this habit of buying average players for big fees and letting them leave for nothing. Now, even if we get 10, 12 million for Iwobi, okay, it's not gonna cover what we shelled out for him, but at least there'll be a return of some sort, rather than just letting them go for nothing, letting them wind his contract down and leave for nothing. Because the only beneficial person that comes out of that is Iwobi, because he gets a big, massive chunk of signing on fee, and he gets high wages wherever he's going next.
Well, he said he's not signing that contract, so at this stage, you can understand why it's a business decision, you know, because the player's going anyway. But it is annoying. I feel personally aggrieved that we would even consider selling him. I have to absolutely be convinced that if we got 12 million for Damari Gray, we got 7 million for Tom Cannon and 15 million for Iwobi. You know, that's like 18 plus 15, 32.
But that's going to pay for Beto, isn't it?
Well, no, we've not paid a penny up front for Beto. So you hope that that's for a right winger. But
for the amount we've agreed a fee for him, getting rid of them 3 players. Now, personally, I think if we let Tom Cannon go for 7 million, there's got to be a buyback clause.
Yeah, agreed.
7 million, okay, he hasn't done a lot, but then Man City have just sold a 22-year-old to Chelsea for 45 million. 7 million for Tom Cannon is buttons, isn't it? When you come to that, okay, Cole Palmer been playing Champions League football for Man City, and he looks a prospect, and there's no comparison between the two, but the comparison is in the fee. There's very similar ages.
Yeah, with respect, you've just compared the two players. One's a Champions League player with huge potential.
No, just for what they've done. Just for what they've done. The fee. Yeah. The fee is.
Do you think it's a little bit low for Cannon? But I think they'll make a business decision and accept that. Listen, we've got so much to talk about in terms of transfers, and we've got a transfer show tomorrow, which you're both going to be on. I don't actually envisage a lot will be happening before sort of mid-afternoon. I think we'll know in the morning, actually. We'll get linked with some players. Or late tonight, there'll be some movement. One of them was Che Adams. He looks like he's signing for Wolves. But I wouldn't be surprised if when they agree a deal with Wolves, we ask for the conditions on that deal. Who's ringing me at this time? I'll have to call you back. I'm on a stream.
Sinister was another one mentioned from Leeds. He's put a transfer request in.
Is that likely? I mean, very quickly, is that likely or?
Highly likely. From what I've seen of him last season, he's pretty decent. He's quick. So I'd imagine if Iwobi's going, he could be the replacement for Iwobi.
Thought he plays on the wing.
Well, so does Iwobi when he's been playing for us, doesn't he? Play right or left.
Yeah, so it's difficult. We'll have more on the transfers in due course, if that's okay. Robbie, you know, obviously you've got your notes there. You talked about the press conference there. We've got our injuries. Was there anything else you took away from that press conference? I mean,
he's back.
We're still here, aren't we? Yeah, that was 1 second. We just disappeared. Yeah, there's two ways of looking at what Sean Dyche said with regards to the business side of things, Ryan. And I took the positive from it, as opposed to the fans going, "Well, what's he talking about?" If we are, it is a business now, and it's a cutthroat business, and you're dealing with mercenaries, and and ultimately that's the way it is. So I applaud him for being upfront and being totally honest, and I think that he is. He is one of us, and I know that he was getting loads of flack in the first half last season. Last night, and at certain points in the season when it hasn't been going, too well for us. So last night, I saw some of the stuff on social media again, and it was like, get him out, get Potter in. I mean, come on, lads and girls, we're all in a mess, and you can only work with the tools what you've got, and I do see better things, and tomorrow again I think it's going to be it will be an important day. It'll define our season, but I think he was being upfront and straight. It is a business, and whether we like it or whether we don't, Iwobi is not signing his contract.
Yeah.
So the business side of things is we're not going to allow what's happened in the past. He's going. Ta-da, mate. You're on your way.
Do we know what contract? How much does Iwobi on a week at the moment?
Wages, isn't he?
Yeah, he's big wages. I mean, I'm talking. I'd say £100,000 a week. I think he got one of them mega deals when he signed on the dotted line,
and he wants it again. And we're not.
The Arsenal fans were laughing at us, I mean, they're talking about him now as a hybrid favourite and whatever. When we signed him, I thought, he's exciting. I'd seen him play. But, oh, God, he didn't flatter to deceive for possibly 2.5 seasons for us.
I think he was terrible for about 2.5 years. I mean, I appreciate we're going off on different directions. I suppose, guys, it doesn't really matter, does it? Let's be honest. But I think for 2.5 years, he was just kind of like a joke, even when he came on in his position, but we had better players, so we were perhaps comparing him with better players than we are now, and he didn't do anything, to justify anything. He didn't justify, and then he only came into the team really because we were losing players and we had no one else, and he's done okay for 18 months. He has, but he doesn't pass the eye test for a right winger. I want a right winger to have a bit of pace, beat a player, whip a ball in, and
doesn't get enough goals. Doesn't get enough goals. You can have it. You can assist as much as you like, but if you haven't got strikers that are putting it in the back of the net, then you're assisting nothing, aren't you? Simple as that. But he doesn't get enough goals. He never got enough goals at Arsenal. He wasn't a great crosser of the ball at Arsenal.
He can't cross.
And he came to us, and we got all excited because he was the cheaper option to Wilfred Zaha, because Palace wants something like 80 million to sign Wilfred Zaha, so we got Iwobi on the cheap instead, or what was supposedly on the cheap. And if he doesn't want to sign, I'm not up for players who don't want to be, part of.
He doesn't want to be here long term now.
If he's not interested in signing a new contract. He's not interested in being up for the fight. I only want players at Everton who want to pull on the blue shirt and realise that we're a team that needs stability and rebuilding, not some mercenary who's going to come in, claim his wages. I seen that. I seen a clip of a Talk Sport interview. Yeah, so I seen that a clip of a Talk Sport interview with Dean Saunders, and there's an Everton fan that came on, and he was moaning about the players and this, that, and the other. And Dean Saunders said, "I've seen so many players who were just happy to come in and pick up the wages. As a manager, you want to wake up every day, and you can have somebody like a Ronaldo at your club, but if he's only there to pick up the wages, he's no good to you. You want 77 players in your team that are going to give you 100% and be up for the fight."
In fairness, I think that Alex Iwobi has given 100% and he's one of the leaders in terms of the effort and energy that he's provided in the game.
I'm not saying that he hasn't, right? I'm just saying that he's not been good enough over the time that he's been at the club.
No, he hasn't. And he didn't do enough to justify the contract. But at the same time, you've got to get money back for the player and you retain his value. And he has got a value. And so I can see why we give him a new contract. It's obviously not the same as he got originally because we can't afford to pay it. And he wants to go back to London. And Fulham is probably about his level, sort of lower mid-table.
But you've also got to think at the minute as well, the way the club has been for the past 2 years, any negotiations and new contracts and stuff for any player, there's going to be a relegation clause in there now because we never had any before. And if we'd have gone down, the club would have been in dire straits. So now, if there's a relegation clause in players' contracts, to get a bit jittery. I mean, and like you say, I think he does want to go back to London. Don't think he's fully ever settled on Merseyside.
Yeah.
So, like you say, if he wants to go, get some money for him and wave him goodbye and thanks for his services.
I'm going to move on. We are. I haven't mentioned them yet. 27 minutes in, we're playing Sheffield United at Bramhall Lane. Saturday, it's the early kickoff. I've got a ticket, thanks to Mabsy. And I'm going to accept him on that offer. I could be glutton for punishment, but Sheffield United have played pre-season. I'll just give you their pre-season results. Let's go back to the 4th of... Sorry, just going to edge back. Just want to give everyone the results of pre-season. Not that for some it doesn't matter, but just to give you some context of what they did. They beat Chesterfield. They drew with Estoril, which I believe is a Portuguese team. Lost to Rotherham. Lost to Girona. Beat Derby County. Lost 3-0 to Stuttgart at home. And they lost to Palace in the Premier League on their opening day at home. They lost to Nottingham Forest away from home the following Friday. They narrowly lost to Man City at home. And they lost on penalties to Lincoln City yesterday. And now they play Everton. So these are two teams right at the bottom of the league. Everton desperate for points. We cannot afford to drop anything on Saturday against Sheffield. Robbie, do you expect a lot more from Sheffield coming up from the Championship? Or, do you feel like those results probably, City at home, Forest away, Palace at home, you expect them not to get anything really? Or have you seen anything of them so far?
No, only little snippets where, they're at home. Very intimidating atmosphere. I've been down to their stadium over the years, and I'd expect them to come out and play like Doncaster did in the first half last night, where they're going to fancy the chances. They'll have done the homework on us, and it'll be a case of, long ball, bang, long ball, run at us. Because do you know that our defence at the moment is kind of, if I use the word, vulnerable at times. So they'll know that. So I'm expecting that. So we need to be switched on. And obviously, a little bit of confidence from last night. I wouldn't have wanted ours to go to penalties. So they've got a point to prove, but I do genuinely fancy us. I think this is where we can go and pick the pockets on Saturday and go have a bit of that. Silence the critics.
I love your optimism, Robbie, and I expected nothing else actually but for you to come and say that we'll do them. And looking at the team, they had the formation was a 3-5-2 against Man City. And just prior to that, against Nottingham Forest, they played, let's have a look now, the 3-4-3. So obviously they went a little bit more defensive and put an extra midfielder in against Man City. But just let's have a look at how they line up against Crystal Palace, and let's see. 3-4-3. So you could imagine they'll probably do the 3-4-3. I got to be honest, I can't name a lot of these players at Sheffield United. They lost some of their big names. A lot of people say they're absolutely woeful, and we can't afford to lose anything against a team which you'd argue are shoo-ins for relegation.
Well, these teams like Sheffield United, Luton, teams that have come up this season, they're going to be looking at us thinking they're the teams, they're the kind of teams we need to beat. and we're doing the same with them. We're already, people are saying, you know, you might be lucky this season because there's 3 worse teams. There could be 3 worse teams than used. You know, everyone's pinning their hopes up on Luton going back down and Sheffield United going back down, and then another. You know what I mean? But we can't afford to be dragged into that sort of scenario. We need to be clear of that, because we don't want the Sheffield United looking at us thinking we've got to beat them, because we're doing that now. We're saying we've got to beat Sheffield United. We've got to beat Wolves. You know what I mean? We can't get dragged into that situation.
Too much pressure too soon. Sheffield have got a couple of injuries, but not many. It's Ryan Brewster and Anis Silimane. They've got hamstring injuries, both of them. They'll miss the game. Ryan Brewster obviously was a big signing back in the day for Sheffield United. But other than that, they've got a fully strong squad. You know, we're not going to come and sit on here and profess to know a lot about Sheffield United, but they haven't got any points, knocked out the cup. Confidence can't be that high. They've lost some
Tom
big players.
Davies will play.
Say again?
I think Tom Davies will start.
Is he fit? Well, he's not injured. And has he played yet for them? Doesn't look like he played for them yesterday. Wasn't on the bench. Was he on the bench against Man City? What statistics have you got there, Robbie, that you want to bring in?
On Tom Davis?
Well, I'm assuming you've got something written down there that you want to...
No, not on... Yeah, on theirs, I mean, the statistics is like, you know, we're talking about how much we're going to get for our players. I was amazed Ryan Brewster went there for 22 million and he'd done nothing. And he's done nothing while he's been at Sheffield United. And yet we're looking at getting shut at Tom Cannon for 7 million. That's what I have a problem with.
Yeah. But he left Liverpool on the back of winning the World Cup with the under-21s, didn't he? And that's probably why he could command. And he done well for the under-21s in the World Cup. But that's probably why he commanded that figure. Yeah,
well ripped off.
Yeah.
Robbie, what else have you got on those notes? Because I feel like you've probably got some things worth saying.
A lot of it is purely for our deadline stuff. So I just have it up in case we gloss over it. Yeah. But I wouldn't do notes on Sheffield United too much, because I don't know enough knowledge about them apart from the formation, and the manager plays 3-4-3, likes to have a go at you, likes to run at you, and openly admitted against Man City, I can't do that against them, so I'm going to throw 3-5-2 and just hope for the best. And but they'll come at us. Rest assured, they're coming.
So, I mean, on that basis then, you know, if Everton, we'll talk about lineups now, Sheffield United 3-4-3. Thank you, Robbie, for that nugget of information. Quite useful. And if they come at us and Everton sit slightly further back.
As we do.
And have beaten, well, I think we took the game to Wolves and we took the game to Fulham and we were a far better team because we did control those games. Villa, we were kind of, it was neither a press nor a drop off. It was just a complete chaos where no one understood. And yesterday we allowed it to become a classic football league showdown with long ball and boot it and head it and kick it and scrap it and kick it. And it was utter dross for 65 minutes. And then Everton, with the addition of Garner Gay, who's proven to be pivotal, mopped everything up, allowed us to get further up the pitch and eventually get 2 winners. But I think against Sheffield, really, if we invite them on, I think now we've got a genuine outlet on the counter-attack in Arnaut Danjuma and Beto. And I'd like to see Beto up front playing on the shoulder of the Sheffield defenders with Danjuma and Dwight McNeil on the wings, and let Sheffield United come on to us, try and break us down, and sucker punch them with that pace, with that quality on the counter-attack, with that ability. Because I think that front three, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't think Lewis Dobbin should start again right now. He was really poor against Doncaster Rovers. Everything, if you watch it back, everything bobbled off him, or he lost the ball, he lost every 50-50, control let him down, he was trying the wrong thing in the wrong areas.
Everybody was though, right? Like everybody was off it.
Particularly Lewis and Chimiti didn't do a single thing the whole game in that whole half. They were really bad.
I'm going to defend Chimiti here, right? Because
please do.
Sean Dyche, and I said it last night, I don't know whether you watched the stream back last night, But Sean Dyche's tactics in that first half last night was absolutely baffling. You're coming up against the bottom team in the Football League and you're playing long ball into an isolated centre forward. What kind of tactics were they? What did he expect the forward to do when he's up front, isolated, alone? He couldn't do anything.
What I'm basing that on, Dave, is I'm not basing it on I'm basing it on what I saw of what he did when he got it. There was times Lewis Dobbin miscontrolling and dribbling it out of play and losing every battle, and the same with Chimiti. And I'm not isolating these two because collectively it was a poor performance. Literally, all of them couldn't keep a ball or trap a bag of cement. But those two did look like they need a lot of time. And so I wouldn't be going with either of them for this game. And I would be trying to get Danjuma, McNeil, and Beto as my front three. Or at least, I just don't see any other options out wide because there's too many injuries. And
thing is, after the Wolves game, even though we got beat, everyone was praising Dobbin. So he didn't just suddenly become not ready to play in the first team because he played rubbish last night in one game.
It was very mixed against Wes. People were saying that he was completely outclassed by Semedo at right back, and I
thought he played really well against Wolves. I'll be honest with you, but I mean, everyone's got an opinion, and they're entitled to that opinion. But I don't think he looked out of place when he played against Wolves. But like I say,
the work rate and effort was there, but he's a young boy who needs to get experience.
It was only in the second half last night when we actually started to play around Doncaster. Now, what I'm finding hard to sort of like fathom is actually saying them words when we started to play around.
You mean keep it on the floor?
Yeah, we started playing little triangles and through balls and stuff like that. When we actually started to do that, we showed that we were a good class above Doncaster.
Yeah.
But before that, it was just an absolute shambles, and any three players could have got dragged off it after that first half because they were all atrocious.
But no, but I agree with Sean Dyche that those two particularly struggled to have any impact.
Patterson was horrendous.
Patterson and Mikolenko also would single them out.
Mikolenko, he's just been stealing the living as a Premier League footballer for me. He should never be allowed on that football pitch again. He's terrible. And we have to thank Mr. Benitez for that.
Yeah, very, very 22 million, I think it was, or 18 million. It's a lot of money. I want to talk about team news and tactics and, how we can beat Sheffield. As I've said, I want to see Beto on the last man, holding the ball up for us, and Danjuma cutting in and McNeil cutting in and interchanging. I think Decore is going to retain his place because of lack of options with Onana and Garner. I think James Garner, if there isn't a spot for him in the team, you can't shoehorn him right midfield. He didn't play well against Doncaster in midfield yesterday, and he was better at right back, but still, I don't think he gets the going forward side of it when he's the right back. So, what do you do? I mean, are you in agreement with me in the front three and Decore, or have you got Robbie? Do you think is there a different approach out front? Just before we come on to defensive midfield, which I think is a little bit more awkward.
What I like and what we think we're going to get on Saturday are two different things, because I don't think McNeil will have 90 minutes in his legs. So is he going to start him or bring him on? Personally speaking, I don't think he'll play because of him coming back. He's not just going to throw him back in. He's very cautious, our manager. So I was thinking, are we going to go 4-5-1 or a 4-4-2? It doesn't.
It's a 4-4-1-1. He's been playing a lot.
Yeah, 4-4-1-1 with Danjuma just behind Beto. So, but I think I'm liking up top. I'm liking the Danjuma and the Beto. I mean, what a cracking partnership that could end up or turn out to be, and that would be amazing. McNeil will be a bonus if Danjuma doesn't play well or he's coming on to replace someone from midfield. I'm hoping we're not chasing the game. I want to see us go out and be solid and not be chasing it.
Do you want to sit back, Robbie, or do you want to go out and attack? Do you want to see us play on the front and try and dominate, or do you want to see a bit more of a counter attack and transitional play where we can expose the space left by Sheffield when they do press with Beto and Danjuma?
It's kind of like two boxes, really, isn't it? Because you've done all your own work. You come out and then, boxer A punches you 10 times. You're not going to get 10 punches in after you've been hit 10 times. So I don't want Everton to be rattled and they get the crowd on the side. You've got to silence the crowd because it is quite a hostile environment in there. It's small, it's noisy. And if they sit back and just go, well, come on, then let's take it. Let's see what you've got before we counter-attack. I'd like to see us go there and do a Usain Bolt and go bang, have a bit of that, and go, what happened there? That's our game plan gone out the window.
Does it help that it's a 12:30 kickoff then to silence the crowd?
Not for us. We're terrible at 12:30 kickoffs.
No, for the home team, it's.
Well, they won't have had as much alcohol, will they? I mean, that sort of, for me, that plays a bit of a with the crowd. So they'll have just been out and had a couple of fruit juices and a bacon pancake in that morning. So
Saturdays at 12:30 at Goodison Park are notoriously poor on the atmosphere. So you hope that Sheffield United won't be quite bouncing at 12:30. I mean, they will be up for the fact that Everton are coming back and they're back in the Premier League, but you have to hope. I mean, it's an interesting perspective. We don't quite know what Dyche will do, but moving into midfield, by the way, 8 o'clock, I need that woman keeps miscalling me and I don't know who it is, so I'm going to have to call them back. But I'll leave you with you two for 5 minutes while I do that. Midfield then, picking that team, Wes. I mean, sorry, Robbie, you've not answered the question. I'm assuming you're going with Danjuma and Beto.
Yeah, up top. Yeah, I said that before. Danjuma, Beto up front. Onana, Ghana, Decore, and
you've got no wingers.
No, well, I see Danjuma. I'd give Danjuma a free rein. I wouldn't, So he's my winger, but he's
left wing.
So
I'll go on the right wing.
Well, if he's not playing McNeil, then we haven't got two wingers anyway, have we? So that's
you took McNeil out.
He's got to play Garner there, hasn't he? James Garner. That's where he's been playing.
Are we going 4-3-3, or are we going for?
Well, someone has to play on the side. He's going to go with 4-4-1-1.
Garner can play there. So I mean, I've got him across the middle, but if he's in midfield, then he can play right and left.
What about Ashley Young right midfield or left wing and Mikalenko left back, or is that just completely off the cards? Yeah.
So he didn't say he wasn't going to play, though, did he?
Can I leave you two to debate the team news while I got back in 5 minutes?
Go, mate. Go in the foul. Yeah, Wes. I'm divided on the Mikalenko one because I've been cutting him some slack because of personal stuff, but I know what you mean about last night. And if he'd have just cost a couple of million and we'd have bought him as a young lad to bring him along and be patient, then I'd sort of go, okay, that's fine. He's still work in progress, but 22 million. I think we were had off on that one personally.
Majorly, but he's had over a season now to show his worth, and he's just not very good. He isn't. He's, to quote a Jeff saying, he's just not very good. And okay, we knew yesterday that we was going to have a squad shuffle, and we probably knew that Mikalenko was going to play, but he was getting absolutely ribboned by a second division football player.
So that second division football player, yeah, I know what you're talking about. How would he fit into our team? If we were to go out and go, you were outstanding last night, you've just ribbed one of our players and made him look awful, and we bought him, would he be a good player for us? Or was it just on the night he just did his own work and some of these lads can just run and run and run. It might only be for 70 minutes, mightn't it? because you're up against the Premiership, who are supposedly going to be a little bit fitter than you.
Put it this way, right? Is that we on the pre-match the day before, we pretty much all said Michalenko was going to start. So
yeah,
Grant McCann probably would have assumed that as well, being the manager of Doncaster Rovers. He's probably gone, you get at Michalenko, because he's got a mistake in him. You know, he's not Premier League quality, so get at him. And that's what he did. And he skinned him time after time after time, and he was getting balls into the box. And Michalenko looked like he was out of depth. And like I said before, out of all of them players that played in that first half, any 3 players could have been dragged off. You know,
who would you have dragged off, Wes?
I'd have dragged him off. Michalenko for starters.
And who else?
Patterson, he was another one that, you know, he couldn't find a blue shirt if his life depended on it. I would have cut Chimiti a bit of slack. I think that if he'd have played in the second half with the players that came on, minus Beto, he probably would have scored that goal that Beto scored, because we started playing football once he brought the subs on.
Yeah, I'm going to cut him a bit of slack. What do you think about Michael Keane last night?
Don't get me on him. Is
he shot confidence wise? As he lost it?
I don't think confidence wise he's lost it. I just think that he's just not very good to like. If you look at the time he's been in Everton, what was it now, 5 years? We've probably had half a good season out of him in them 5 years in total, where you can say Michael Keane is very good when balls are played in the air. When the ball's thrown into the box, he's very good at heading the ball and clearing it. Anything in and around his feet, it's terrible. If you got a nippy striker that he's got, you know, bit fleet of foot, Michael Keane hasn't got a clue.
And most of them are nippy, aren't they, in the Premiership?
Yeah, I think the game's too fast for him. I really do. I think that the speed of the Premier League is too fast for him.
So, based on what we're saying here, then we've got a very, very average back line, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, when the team news come up and you're seeing Godfrey and Keane as the centre half choice. Now, I personally would have had Tarkowski and or Keane or Godfrey alongside Tarkowski, because he can manage the, like, it was like when Mina played. Mina sort of managed the defence by himself, like instantly. Whether you was Holgate or whether you was Keane, when you was playing alongside Mina, they were better defenders, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And when they were playing together, they were horrendous. Like, it's not. You don't have to be John Motson or Alan Shearer or Danny Murphy to look up the stats and find out how many goals that we leak when Michael Keane's playing. You can see that for yourself as a football fan. And thousands upon thousands of Everton fans say every week he should not be playing. Now, they can't all be wrong, Robbie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think's gone wrong with Godfrey then since his injury? Or was he not that good before his injury? Because when he first landed from Norwich, everyone was tipping him to play for England, and his turn of speed was amazing. And it was kind of, for me personally, he was a different player then than what he is now.
I think you hit the nail on the head, his injury. I think he got that injury and he's never come back the same player.
Gomez was the same, wasn't he?
Gomez, when he got his leg break, was like a shadow. Like, I remember. Do you remember when Gomez played in the derby and absolutely run the show?
Yeah.
And it's the very first derby he played in, and like a lot of my mates are Liverpool fans, and they were all saying, he was unbelievable. He absolutely bossed them at midfield. And then he got his injury and he came back and he was just a shadow of the player that he was. And it's a shame because he had it.
Yeah. Okay, right.
Have you sorted your teams?
No, not yet.
We're just talking about how vulnerable our back line is. But I would go, my team would be Pickford, Patterson, Tarkowski, Branthwaite, Young at the back. Garner Gay, Decore, Onana, Garner, Danjuma and Beto. But I don't know in what formation, because if they're going 3-4-3, I'm going, because we don't tend not to play three at the back, do we?
It feels inevitable that the team will be Ashley Young, Jared Branthwaite, James Tarkowski and Nathan Patterson, with James Garner right side of midfield, Decore, Onana and Garner, and Danjuma left side of midfield, and Beto up front. I don't think that's particularly balanced.
Unless we get somebody in before midday tomorrow.
Doubt it.
You never know. Because if we sign that Sinisterra, right?
Where have you got this from? You're making that up. We've not been linked with him.
Yeah, that was linked up. Yeah, he's right.
He's put a transfer request in at Leeds. Swear down, right? Now, if he's signed before midday tomorrow, he can play Saturday afternoon. I'm sure he can't he, Robbie?
I find it highly unlikely that we're going to throw someone this.
Yeah, midday would be the cut-off tomorrow. But
right, so he can play on the right wing.
But right. Wes, this is a farce. We're going to get criticism. We can't put players in the team on this match preview if we've not even signed.
No, I'm not saying. All I'm saying is, hypothetically,
if we sign Messi before 12 tomorrow, we could stick him up front.
But the thing is, we're not linked with Messi. We're linked with Sinisterra.
Give us the team now, David, of players we've actually got that play for Everton in Royal Blue that have trained. What is your 1 to 11 and why?
Pickford, because we haven't got anyone better. Patterson, I haven't got a reason apart from the fact that Seamus is injured.
Patterson makes me ill with his distribution, but yeah.
Ashley Cole, because he's like a million. Ashley Young. I was just throwing him in there. We're going to sign him tomorrow.
Before
Ashley Young. Because our second choice right back is like 16 years younger than him and twice as bad. Well, Tarkowski and Bramhall.
16 years younger and twice as bad. He actually is. Yeah,
he's only 22. He's only 22, isn't he, Michalenko?
I think he's like 23 or 24 now. But
so Tarkowski because he's the captain, obviously. Bramhall because he's probably now our best centre half based on his performance last week. In the middle, you know what? I'm not a big fan of Onana. I'm just not.
He was the best player on the park against Doncaster.
Really?
Watch it back. Yeah, watch it back. He was the only one who really. Yeah, he was honest. I watched it back with fresh eyes, from an analytical point of view. So I knew the result of the game. And
the thing is,
he was a lot better than everyone else in that first half.
That didn't take much. Come on. A player of his capability should be grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck.
Well, we barely scraped past the Swiss team. Half of them are chocolate makers and watchmakers.
But he should have been grabbing that game by the scruff of the neck, and he didn't. He never bossed that game.
I thought Onana was absolutely fine against Doncaster, from what I saw. The rest of them were atrocious. Even Sean Dyche praised him. But Wes, you've given me a team. You've got players, as you say, Michalenko, half his age, half as good. You've gone with Bramhall, Tarkowski and Patterson. You're not convinced on Patterson. You're not convinced on Young. Then in midfield, you're unsure. You've got Onana, Garner, Decore, Garner again, James Garner on the wing doesn't really work. Over Lewis Dobbin, who is the best thing since sliced bread.
It's a bit harsh, isn't it? Hey, I didn't say he was the best thing since sliced bread. All I'm saying to you, right? All I'm saying to you is I would love to see James Garner in the centre of the pitch. I think he's wasted out on the right, although he threw a lovely cross in yesterday for that header that hit the bar from Beto. But I think he's wasted on the right. For some reason or another, he's a better right back than what he is a better right midfielder.
But what we should be trying to do is you've got Danjuma playing left side, who's a goal scorer, a finisher. And I think the only reason he hasn't got 3 or 4 goals is because he snatched because he was so nervous and wanted to do well, almost trying too hard. And he finally got his goal with the composure. You've got Beto. I think we should be trying to get down that right-hand side with the Garner and Patterson link up and get balls into the box. Get Beto, get Danjuma on the end of it. And then the left side is just basically an auxiliary centre back, to protect and go from there. Get Onana in the box, get the big guys in, nod it in.
The thing is, right, there's no in our team for a good few years now, you haven't had a good understanding between the players. Now you look at Baines and Pienaar, we haven't had that for a long time, and we need to get that.
Wes, you've Domino Chris, my friend, obviously former member of the channel and a VIP of ours. He's sent me a message. He's clipped you reading Ashley Cole's name out on the team news. Ashley Cole signs for Everton. Oh, we're live. That's not the clip. That's not.
He's ruthless, isn't he?
That's not the clip, but he clipped it. People are laughing at you, Dave.
I'm not asked. I was just slipping at some.
How can we trust this moron who thinks it's Ashley Cole, a left back?
Moron's a bit harsh.
I do apologise. Well, Dave, okay, so you've gone with that team, James Garner, and obviously you've got Walcott right midfield, Aaron Lennon left midfield, and Lampard. Do you think Gerrard will get in the team?
Who?
Exactly. It's before your time. I think.
Look at the bottom there. Jet lagged.
Oh, bless him. He's got his excuses lined up. Wes, does your phone? Have you ever seen Little Britain?
I have, yeah.
Do you remember the little guy who used to come in the room and be like, "I'll write you a song. I'll ring the theme tune. Sing the theme tune. Write the theme tune." Yeah. And he's a little guy and he's like looking up.
Are you starting to say I'm slumped?
No, I think your camera's like making you we're all up here and you're like...
It's on a tripod.
Does it have an angle?
Oh, hang on.
Oh my God. It's almost like we're in the same shot now for everyone. Premium. We'll be on Patreon soon. $1.99 a month.
How do you feel about that? So I'm getting glare off my gigs.
No. It's all right. That's all right. Can't help the fact you're 51. Oh, bless you. Listen, I think we've covered a lot of things. We're going to be back for the transfer show tomorrow, which is going to be an interesting one because we've got myself, we've got Wez, we've got Robbie, we've got Jan, we've got Stevie, we've got Mabsy. So we've got a right plethora of guys on there. Amy might drop in, and Basil's technically back in Liverpool, so we might see everyone more or less on the show tomorrow at some point. That's from 8 o'clock. But if something happens and we get players in by afternoon, we might start a bit earlier, like 7, talk about it. I'll be honest, tomorrow's show is going to be looking ahead at Sheffield a little bit more. Of course, general chit chat. And I mean, with the emphasis of we'll cover transfers as they're coming in, around Europe. And we'll give our opinion as deals are going in, not necessarily related to Everton, but of course we'll have an Everton focus. But just because we're over a course of several hours tomorrow, it will be very much an open forum, and we'll be sat talking about absolutely anything. It will not always be about football, I can assure you. There's no way we can do 4 hours talking about whether we should sell Alex Iwobi. Not after we've done 4 years talking about whether should we sell Alex Iwobi. Right, Wes, prediction for tomorrow, and then we'll go to some comments. And
well, I was looking at the head-to-head stats before, and Everton have won twice. They played each other 6 times, and Everton have won 4 and lost 2, and they've played once in the League Cup, I think. They've won twice at Bramhall Lane and been beat 3 times. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to the Blues.
Love it. Mr. P?
2-1 for me. I think Better will go bang bang, gets 2 goals, and he's off the mark in the Premiership.
Yeah.
I just don't see us keeping. I'd like to. I want to. I really do want to see us keeping a clean sheet. But we were talking about it before when you took your phone call. We've just got a vulnerable defence at the moment that needs some serious hard work doing on it. So I see them scoring, but I see us scoring more than them.
Yeah, I think it could be 1-1, and I think Beto will score for Everton. I just think we've still got a mistake, even with Branthwaite and Tarkowski. I look at our fullbacks and think they're weak, and the ill positioning of some of our midfielders as well, where they're playing a little bit too high when they should be dropping and not leaving so much space in behind them.
If we don't get any throw-ins in our half, we'll be all right.
Hopefully we don't gift them some goals and make life easy. But yeah, I think it'll be 1-1 or 2-1, Robbie. I think Beto is going to score, and I think he's going to be the best thing since sliced bread. Thank you to everyone watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. I can see loads of comments coming in. I'll whiz through a few of them, but tomorrow we're going to have a real focus on the comments when we talk about transfers. So this person, Suspira56, I'd love to see 2 up front. I think the problem really is we haven't got anyone who can play on the wing and actually cross it into them. But DCL, he'll be back after the international break. He's training. He's doing some training, but he can't actually, have any impact on his cheek at the moment. The Blues are saying, watching us try and control games through possession makes my eyes bleed. Let's get balls into the box. I agree. I think we need a bit of a balance of both, though. Can't play fast when players take extra touches, try to dribble past everyone and make the one passes. That's a fair point. That's from Wormy. Mike is saying Michaelenko looks like a big mistake. Yeah, I think Peter's saying as a championship player, I have to be honest with you. I feel like sounds really mean and I might get slated for this, but I think he got a lot of kind of a free pass because of where he came from and the circumstances surrounding his homeland. I think people were frightened really to criticize him. And also the fact that he'd just come in, but you could see straight away there was no pace, there was no kind of technical quality to him, and no end product in the final third. And to be honest, I don't even think defensively he's that good. That guy who played right mid for Doncaster yesterday had him on toast a couple of times, and it was quite humiliating. There's a few comments criticising Michael Keane, but he won't be involved tomorrow. He did lose the man for the goal yesterday, but it was offside. Hello to Ian, Peter the Blues, Kevin's in the comments as well, Harold's in there, Lila's in there, hello, Drew's in there, Crazy Boy, loads of people watching, thank you so much.
The thing is, right, if you can't defend as a Premier League centre half against a second division team, then you're not a Premiership defender, are you? Let's be honest.
Nope. But then you could argue none of them did well and they're not Premier League. This is Peter's team. Pickford, Patterson, Tarkowski, Branthwaite, Young, Onana, and Garner, Danjuma, Dobbin, Chimiti, and Beto. 4-4-2. Chimiti off Beto with Dobbin on the left wing. That's an interesting team. The only concern there probably, Peter, is that as Sheffield United play a 3-man midfield, 3-4-3 actually. No, they don't. They play 2 in midfield. How will we manage to cope? Do you think Robbie actually... The 2 centre-backs there then of Everton, Chimiti and Beto against Sheffield United's 3 defenders, could really cause them some problems 2-on-3. And
dropping Decore.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question as well. But in terms of the formation, could that cause some problems to... He's not going to play in it behind the striker though, Peter. He's going to play 4-4-2.
I don't think he's going to play Chimiti and Beto together.
No.
He'll play. He's more likely to play Mopé, isn't he? If
Jimmy
anything.
will be on the bench.
Yeah.
Well, he'll be on the bench for a while.
Jimmy could start him because Beto obviously played 45 last night. He could start and Beto come on again, but
no,
we'd all like to see Beto starting, wouldn't we?
It's not going to happen. Kevin's gone with a 3-1 win for Everton on Saturday. I know we keep thinking we're playing tomorrow. We're playing Saturday.
So it's a bold shout.
Loads of comments, which I appreciate. We are going to wrap things up though on for this show, guys, because we've been on for an hour and it wasn't meant to be that long. And me and Robbie and Wez are doing a little bit of a technical thing after this now, where we've got to make sure our setup's perfect for tomorrow. But I want to see every single person tomorrow on our transfer deadline day show. I don't care whether there's other channels doing transfer deadlines or spaces and all other stuff. You're joining us tomorrow between 8 o'clock and midnight. And we're going to watch Everton sign Ashley Cole and Lionel Messi. It's going to be an amazing show.
I'm never going to live that down. A slip of the tongue. And do you know what? He was actually at Everton, wasn't he? So, it wasn't a complete faux pas, was it?
Peter said Decore isn't playing well. He got the assist for the goal, Peter, that Beto scored from. The Blues is passing his team. Jamie says Beto is on New Hope.
I can't disagree with Peter Duggan on that one with Decore not playing great. But to drop him and play Chimiti, I don't think that's going to happen.
Got a good assist against Doncaster and was very good against Wolves and should have scored. Mike says Beto and Branthwaite have to start. I think they will. I think they will play. Right, I'm going to wrap things up just as I explained. We've got some stuff to do here, technical side. We'll be back tomorrow with a bumper stream, which will be really chilled and relaxed. We'll be talking about everything from I don't know. Not sure, but we're hoping some people will have some stories to tell, maybe some interesting things to come out with to keep all our guests entertained tomorrow whilst we wait for some transfers. So you'll have to get some more notes out, Mr. P and Wez. You think about
it's all in there.
Yeah, we're looking forward to some stories. All right, guys, you two stay on, okay?
Yeah.
Bye, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you.